My name is Mike Rinaldi, and I'm a petition candidate for the Board of Education. Recently, I introduced myself in a Meet the Candidate forum on Simsbury Public Television, where I gave a short educational background of myself and also a professional history. At that time, I said I would produce a Simsbury Public Television program outlining my reasons for offering my services as a petition candidate for the Board of Education. My reasons for running for the Board of Education are twofold. First, I believe that the voters in Simsbury should have a choice on how they elect or how the Board of Education is appointed. Second, I would like to offer some of my ideas on not only improving an excellent school system, but to offer some ideas on policies and procedures to make the system more cost-effective. Now, getting back to my initial point of choice. Presently, it is pretty much unknown in Simsbury how the Board of Education is, quote, elected. I believe it's appointed. Every 2 years, the Board of Education has 4 members who are put up for, quote, election. You are asked to vote for 2 of the 4 members that are up for election, but all 4 are elected. That's not a democratic process. That's not transparent. Actually, it's more of a popularity contest. And some of the board members are on the board for years with very little change and very little new ideas, which I believe we need in these difficult times. Let me give you some ideas on how I would initiate or improve the system. But first, we have to go back to why we are in difficult straits, because the funding of education, our education from the state, is being either markedly decreased or eliminated. Now, approximately $6 million is provided in state grants to our public school educational system. As you're well aware, that the formula that was created by the state to distribute funds to our various school districts has come under marked judicial review, and that has been actually for years. It started out with the Horton Meskill suit, followed by the Chef O'Neill suit, and now the CCJEF versus REL suit, which was basically in our recent Superior Court judgment. It was said to be unconstitutional. This suit is now being appealed in the Supreme Court, and there's no question that the suit has basically shown that the school districts have been funded in a non-transparent way, in that some school systems got more funding while other systems got less funding, and the supposed formula for the distribution of educational grants to the towns was not being followed. Now, recently, the governor said he wants to eliminate all funding from the state to certain school districts, which he thinks are basically less needy than other districts. He also stated that why should he give full funding to a district that has marked decrease in enrollment? And you know, in Simsbury, we've had a 22% decrease in enrollment over the past 12 years. So how do we proceed? if we're going to get marked decrease in funding in the coming years. The Republican budget, which was passed by the House and Senate, State Senate, basically was going to make the school districts whole for a couple of years. But then even the Republican budget is proposing a new formula for how state funds are going to be distributed to the town. Simsbury will obviously get less than the present amount of funds that they have been receiving over the past few years. So the burden is going to be on the taxpayers to increase revenues, tax revenues. That means increasing the tax rate for our citizens to provide adequate funds for our school system. Now, our school system has basically been using more than what I believe is an adequate system for funding our educational system. And that's because over the past 10 years, we've had a 20% decrease in enrollment. And during that time, every budget except for the last one, which the Board of Finance cut by $1 million, has been more than the inflation rate or the CPI increase. The problem with our funding basically comes down to where we have decreasing enrollment. We have to decrease our budget to basically reduce our per pupil costs so we can make the system more cost effective. Now, approximately 5 or 6 years ago, there was a study done that was commissioned by the Simsbury Board of Education, which basically had to do with projected enrollments over the next 10 years. This was the Pravda study, and this is Simsbury Public Schools enrollment projected to 2021. There was also a second study done about the same time. This study was done in 2012. It was called the Demographic Study and Long-Range School Facilities Plan. And that study also projected what school enrollment would be over the coming 10 years period. Now, from the graph that you will be seeing right now, you will be able to look at our previous enrollment that dates back to 1970. In 1972 to 1974, we had our marked enrollment projected for students. At that time, we had 5,800 students in our school system. Over a little more than a 15-year period, our school enrollment dropped to 3,800 students from 1974 to 1986 to 1988. Now, over that 10 to 15-year period, we actually decommissioned one of our schools to make our system more cost effective. However, over the coming years in the 1990s to the early 2000s, our school enrollment increased from 3,800 to 5,000 students. And therefore, we actually used some portable classrooms to accommodate those students. Now, with the marked decrease in enrollment again over the 10 years, and this is a phasic system, as our citizens age and move out of the 3 and 4 bedroom homes, the school system will obviously have more students as younger people with children move into the system. Now, as you will see, the school system enrollment, when we look at the various schools, the Henry James Memorial School enrollment has shown a marked decrease from approximately 850 students to approximately 550 students over this period of time. This is a marked decrease in enrollment and gives us an opportunity to do something with the middle school to make it more effective and efficient as far as providing education for our students. The Simsbury High School, as you will see on the next graph, is now showing the same decrease in enrollment, although it is being phased in over a period of time as the decrease in enrollment moves from the elementary schools through the middle schools and into the high school. And as you will see, the Simsbury High School had a maximum enrollment in 2010 of about 1,600 students, and now is in the range of approximately 1,400 students, and will most likely decrease as the number of students from the middle school move into the high school to approximately 1,200 to 1,300 students. Now, the Simsbury school budget, which was released this year for 2017 and 2018, shows the historic enrollment of our school system from K through 12. As you can see, from 2008 to 2017, there has been a decrease in enrollment of 536 students, or 21%. This is K to 6. That's where we experienced the most decrease in enrollment, and that's when we started decommissioning the portable schools, the portable school rooms. As you can see, from grades 7 through 8, there has been a 182 decrease in enrollment. Again, a 21% decrease in enrollment over this time. And this is manifested by the elementary school students moving into the middle school. Now, the system will continue to decrease as it gets into the high school, where the high school range was about 1,500 to 1,600 students, as stated, down to a loss of 154 students, or a 9% loss. And this will increase again to a 20% loss as the lower grades move into the students move into the high school. So therefore, we have to look at what the staffing was during this period of time when we had marked decrease in enrollment. As you can see, from K through 6, the enrollment was approximately 2,500 students, and it decreased to a little over 1,900 students, and that was a 536 decrease, or 21% decrease in enrollment. During this time, the certified elementary teachers showed a 13.5 decrease in the number of teachers we had in our system, and that was only a 12% reduction. So we went from a 21% reduction in students to only a 12% reduction in teaching staff. Now, that's a very inefficient way to downgrade a school system to make it cost competitive. Now, when we look at elementary class sizes, in 2016, the K through 2 appropriate range by the Board of Education was 18 to 22 students. Now, during that time, a number of classes that exceeded the range was one class. The number of classes that were below that range were 9 classes. Now, in the in the 3 to 6 range, where the class size range is 21 to 25 students, we had no classes above that range. But we had 23 classes below that range. When you combine K through 6, we have only one class that exceeds the range that the Board of Education stated we should have for our classroom size, to 32 classes over the range. That's a 33% class size under the proposed limits. That means 67% of our classes are within range, 33% of our classes are below range, and they may be below range by 1, 2, or 3 students. Now, the common argument is that a smaller class will give you a better educational experience. There is no data that I know of that when you increase the classes by 1 or 2 students, or increase the class size by one or two students, that it markedly affects the quality of education. So therefore, when we are not able to maintain class size, we obviously increase per pupil costs, and therefore our budgets will have to go up. Now, how do we create a system whereby we can make our system more cost effective? Well, one of the things that I've been thinking about was how do you improve the system and make it more cost effective? Now, Simsbury has an excellent school system. It's been an excellent school system for the 43 years I've been in town, and everybody supports the system. And everybody running for office basically says, you know, we have a great town, we have a great citizenry here, we have excellent resources, and we have this great school system, and nobody wants to change the quality of it, of the education, and that we have always supported it to maintain that quality. But however, at this point in time, we're getting to a period where our system has to be made more cost effective. We still have to maintain that quality, but are there ways that we can not only make it more cost effective, but maybe even improve it? One of my ideas is moving the 6th grade into the middle school. Now, with the decreased enrollment at the middle school level, it'll be very easy to fit the 6th grade into that middle school. It will be better for 6th graders because they will be in one building where the resources can be maximized instead of spreading out over 5 different schools. Also, we can make the school system more cost effective by doing this. Now, if we were to move the 6th grade into the middle school, that means the elementary schools from K through 6 would be decreased from K through 5. We would have to do a redistricting program to maintain class sizes. And actually, there's the possibility of closing a school. Now, I'm not proposing to close a school at this point in time, but I'm proposing to move the 6th grade into the middle school and to look at our 5 schools and see if we can propose a number of our educators and our administrators to look at the possibility of actually redesigning our school system into a pre-K through 2 system, which would specialize in elementary education, a 3 to 5 school system, and of course a 6 through 8 school system. Now, the middle school configuration that was done by Juergen and Combs a number of years ago basically advocated for moving the 6th grade into the 7th and 8th grade when it was at all possible. We have that possibility now because of decreasing enrollment. Even with projected increasing enrollment over the next 10 years, we should still be able to fit that class into the middle school, which has a potential enrollment size of 1,000 students. The New York Middle Grade Task Force basically stated that the developmentally students in grades 6, 7, and 8 have more in common in terms of physical, social, psychological, and intellectual variables than do those in any other age grade combination. Therefore, their suggestion was a 3-year middle school grade time of frame allows the most opportunity for a strong, positive relationship to be built among students, teachers, and for emotional development. In summary, the 7 and 8 combination is felt by many educators to be the worst configuration available based on current research. However, when one moved the 6th grade into the 8th grade, that combination was stated to be the most common configuration, which supported the current research that showed that this was the most beneficial way to educate this age group. So, in summary, I'm running for the Board of Education as a petition candidate, and I'm seeking your vote because I believe we need a choice during the next election. We shouldn't have the same old deal where 4 people, 2 from the Republican Party, 2 from the Democratic Party, are nominated or renominated to be on the board, and you're asked to vote for any 2 and all 4 are elected. These people are there for years. They have no new ideas. They have not discussed some of the things that I have discussed to not only make the system better, but to make it more cost effective. Some of the things I am suggesting could save millions of dollars per year. And I encourage you to ask your friends and your neighbors to view my program and to listen to some of the things I have to say. Like I say, I've been here for 43 years, and I'm very disappointed in what we have done in the past 10 years to make our system more cost effective during a marked decrease in enrollment. As I said, the enrollment will go back up, but it most likely will never go back up to 5,700 students. It will most likely go up into the mid-4,000 range, and our present school system can easily accommodate that amount of students. Presently, I believe that we should seriously consider how we can make our system more cost effective, make the system more competitive for 6th graders, and make the system better for all our students, and make the system more cost effective so that Simsbury taxpayers can get a break in paying the amount of taxes that we are required to support an excellent school system. And thank you for listening.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.